So hello and welcome back to another session on Indian writing in English. We continue with Nagamandala. We shall start Act 2. So in Act 2 begins with Rani is sitting in a corner, hiding her face behind her knees, her arms wrapped around her legs. Naga is watching her with a smile from the bed. The flames are watching them, humming the last lines of the song. Flames sing, "Come, let us flow down the tresses of time, all light and song." As the song fades away, Naga, "What is it now?" "Go away," Rani says. "Go away. Don't talk to me." Naga, "But why are you crying?" Rani, "I said, be quiet." There's a pause. "I didn't know you were such a bad man. I should have known the moment you started using honeyed words." There's a pause. "Had I known, I would never have agreed to marry you. What will father and mother say if they come to know?" Naga, "They will say, 'Good, our daughter is following nicely in our footsteps.'" Rani, exploding, "Quiet, I warn you. I'm your wife and you don't have to answer anyone about me. But I will not have you say such things about my parents. They are not like dogs." Naga laughs. "What have dogs done to deserve sole credit for it, you silly goose?" Frogs croaking in pelting rain, tortoise singing soundlessly in the dark, foxes, crabs, ants, rattlers, sharks, swallows, even the geese. The female begins to sing or to smell like the wet earth, and stung by her smell, the king cobra starts searching for his queen. The tiger bellows for his mate. When the flame of the forest blossoms into a fountain of red, the earth cracks open at the touch of the aerial roots of the banyan. It moves in the hollow of the cottonwood, in the flow of estuary. The dark limestone caves from the womb of heavens to the dark netherworlds. Within everything that sprouts, grows, stretches, creaks, and blooms. Everywhere, those who come together cling, fall apart lazily. It is there and there and there, everywhere. Rani, "Goodness, goats have to be sacrificed and buffaloes slaughtered to get a word out of you in the mornings. But at night, how you talk. Snakes and lizards may do what they like, but human beings should have some sense of shame." There's an irony here. Okay, and another thing that you have here, it's mostly to do with the Indian system of the taboo that has been enforced while speaking about sex. Okay, where India lacks sex education. Naga suddenly looks out. It is almost dawn. "I must go." Rani, "No, no." Naga, "Listen. The drongo and the coil." Rani, "Why don't those birds choke on their own songs? Who has given them the right to mess about with other creatures tonight?" Naga, "I'll be back again at night." Rani, "Only at night? Not for lunch?" Naga, "Of course. There's always that." Pause. "Listen, Rani, I shall come home every day twice. At night and of course again at midday. At night, wait for me here in this room. When I come and go at night, don't go out of this room. Don't look out of the window, whatever the reason, and don't ask me why." Rani, "No, I won't. The pig, the whale, the eagle, none of them ask why. So I won't either. But they ask for it again. So I can too, can't I?" She is readily accepting. Rani has changed. The cobra has changed that frigidity. She is readily accepting her wifely duties. Runs to him and embraces him. While the above scene is in progress, Kurudava and Kappanna have arrived outside. As usual, he lowers her to the ground and sits under the tree. She goes to the door, stumbles over the dog. Surprised, she feels it, makes sure it is dead. Feels a lock on the door, calls out in a whisper. Kurudava, Kappanna? Kappanna, yes. Kurudava, come here. Kappanna, no, I won't. Kurudava, I said come here. This fool doesn't understand a thing. Quick, something funny is happening here. Reluctantly, Kappanna comes to the door. Look here. Kappanna, a dog, and it is dead. Kappanna, it wasn't here the night before, and the lock is still there. I wonder what that silly girl has gone and done. Look inside the house. Can you see anything? Kappanna, looking. No. Kurudava, listen. They listen. Naga walks toward the bathroom. Kappanna, footsteps. Kurudava, it's a man. Kappanna, Appanna, he's inside. He will be out any minute. Kurudava, he can't. What about the lock? Then thinks. And if Appanna locked the door from outside, who is in there now? Look, see who it is. Kappanna, I can't see anything from here. Kurudava, try the window at the back. Reluctantly, he goes to the back door. Naga goes to the bathroom, turns into a king cobra and goes out of the drain just as Kappanna arrives at the spot and sees the cobra emerge. Kappanna screams, Snake! Snake! A cobra! Rushes to the front door, picks up Kurudava and starts to run. Kurudava, where? Kappanna, in the backyard, out of the bathroom drain. Kurudava, then why are you running? It isn't following us, is it? It should be gone by now. Let me down, let me down. Rani hears the commotion, comes running to the front door. Rani, who is it, Kurudava? Kurudava, let me down. Yes, it is me, child. Comes back to the door. Kappanna, don't go too near, mother. It may still be there. Rani, what is it, Kurudava? Who was that shouting? Kurudava, it won't come any closer. I'll speak from here. Kappanna says he saw a cobra there. Rani, where? Kurudava, coming out of the bathroom drain. Rani, oh my God, I hope he didn't go to the bathroom. Rushes to the bathroom, calling out to Appanna, listen, listen. She's relieved to find it empty. Comes back to the front door. Kurudava, who are you calling? Appanna? Rani, yes, he left just a few minutes ago. I think he's gone, thank God. Kurudava, he must be inside the house. We have been here the last half an hour. No one has come out. Rani, he certainly isn't in the house. Pushes the door. There, the door is locked from the outside. It wouldn't be if he was in here, would it? Perhaps you didn't see him come out. Kurudava, maybe so. Well, my child, have you started your married life? Rani, blushing. Yes, Kurudava. Yawns. Kurudava laughs. Tired. Poor thing. So you see the power of my root? Didn't I tell you your husband will cling to you once he tastes it? Rani, embarrassed, tries to laugh. Kurudava, well, my work is done. I'll be off now. Bless you. Burn incense in a ladle and stick it into the drain. Keeps the reptiles out. Rani, please come again. Kappanna lifts up Kurudava. They talk in whispers. Kappanna, if the steps we heard were Appanna's, well, he certainly hasn't come out of the house. Kurudava, of course, he's in there. Once couples start playing games, they begin to invent some pretty strange ones. Come on, let's go. They move. Rani thinks for a while, goes into the bedroom. Kappanna, carrying Kurudava, suddenly stiffens, stands frozen, staring at something in the distance. We'll stop here because that is another important part of the play. So we'll stop here and let's do an evaluation of the play. of the part that we discussed right now. So Rani goes, so when the act begins, you find Rani sitting in a corner, holding her face behind her knees, and she's crying. Naga asks her why she's crying. So you see that it starts, the play actually, the second act actually begins with the last few 3 lines of the flames that show their love making, and that shows the relationship between Naga and Rani. So it is soon after love making. After this, Rani is sitting in a corner and she's crying. She feels guilty of what she has done. So Naga asks her why she's crying, and he tells her that she should. She tells him that she has. She feels that they have done something very bad, very awful. Okay, remember another thing, she has just attained or reached her puberty when she got married. So she's still a child. One thing, so this shows one aspect is child marriage. Another thing is she has not been advised, or she has not been told what a married life is. A married life which was told to her is just love her husband as God, and be an obedient wife, cook and clean for the husband. Nothing else is explained to the child, and therefore she does not have anything, or she does not know anything about what a married life means. Okay, so after she may have she knows what embrace and kiss may mean, and the ecstasy she gets out of being taken into his arms and all, but the rest of it she does not know, and therefore she is unaware of it, and she feels guilty. That's why she goes and sits in a corner and she starts to cry, and she says that you are a very bad man. You see what you have done to me. We have done something awful. We have done something very bad, sinful. So she should, and she says, I should have known, I should have been on guard when you started talking to me in honeyed words. If I had known that you were going to do all these things that you have done to me tonight, right now, I would never have consented to marry you. So she does not know what marriage is, or what it is all about. The marital relationship is all about. The sexual relationship is all about. She is worried now that she has done something very bad, very awful. She is worried what her father and mother will say when they come to know about her love making. She's guilty. So Naga teasingly tells her that her parents will only feel happy that their daughter is following their footsteps. Rani becomes very angry at this. Rani says, you should not speak badly about this, because she does not know, or she does not know about anything about this sort of relationship, and she thinks that her parents are too pure. Okay, and even in our Indian scenario, if the child asks, how was I born, the parents often resort to say you are the gift of God. So children tend to believe that a child is born as a gift from God, and they don't associate this with with sexual relationship. In fact, they are not told about it at all. The Indian system considers it a taboo to talk about sex. Okay. So that is what you see here, Rani suffering, and that is what Karnad intends to mocks at through this section. So Rani, she becomes angry and she tells Naga, don't you say anything about my parents like that. They are not like that. Okay, and she will not allow him to say anything nasty about her parents. They are not like dogs that mate shamelessly in the open. So she considers this kind of talk as shameless things. All right, okay. Then you have Naga then gives an eloquent lecture on universal feeling of love making in all animate and inanimate creatures on the world. He mockingly asks her why she should give the entire credit for such a thing as making love only to dogs. It is done by all living things in the world: frogs croaking in the rain, tortoises singing noiselessly in the dark, foxes, crabs, ants, rattlers, sharks, swallows, and even the geese do it freely. The female gives out smell like the wet earth, and bitten by the smell, the king cobra goes in search of the queen. The tiger roars for his tigress. Even the trees are engaged in reproduction. When there are tiger roars for his tigress, even the trees are engaged in reproduction. When there are red blossoms on the trees, the earth cracks to receive the roots of the banyan tree. The process of procreation can be noticed in the hollow of the cottonwood, in the flow of the tides in the mouth of the river, and in the depths of limestone quarries. It goes on from the heights of the sky to the lowest points of the nether worlds. This can be seen in everything that germinates, grows, spreads, and flourishes, at every place where they meet, embrace in the most passionate manner, and move apart languidly. This process of replication goes on everywhere. So procreation is a process which propagates and sustains life. So this is the long lecture given by Naga to Rani when she speaks about their love making, when she speaks about her guilt, when she feels that she has done something wrong by falling into his arms. So Naga tells him that procreation is the process which propagates and sustains life on earth, and this continues, or this happens everywhere. It's not just to do with the dogs alone. So Karnad, he goes on to say that he is indebted to Jean Anouilh, the French dramatist, for this long speech of Naga. The speech of Naga represents a frank and free discussion of sex, which is a taboo in Indian society. The Western society does not make any such secret of sex. Karnad, through Naga, points out that this ignorance and the view of it as taboo creates problems in marital relationship, as in the case with Rani. Naga's works of not having guided her on this matter, that is her aunt or her mother, when she attained puberty, is responsible for all the problem that Rani faces now. Okay, so that's the most important part of this section of the act, and that the reason as to why Rani feels hurt and she thinks that she has committed something terrible, and what she would do if her parents find out that. So she has absolutely no idea of what a marital relationship is all about. All she knows is that a woman is to cook and clean and love her husband. So the love aspect of love that she has understood is totally different from that of what real love Aparna expects from her. So that is also one important thing. Karnad's play dramatizes this problem of defining and redefining identity, and the difficult transition of shifting social roles in various phases of human life. Theatre in which actors take on changing roles has among its many other functions the examination of identity. Karnad's play focuses on the socialization process of men and women who ought to change their roles and identity from naive adolescents to responsible adults after entering the institution of marriage. It is a commonly acknowledged fact that all human roles are relative and identities are learned rather than innate. Okay, after all, the dramatic roles on stage too are replica of the social roles that we play off stage, right? What we do in our reality, that's what it is, a mirror of the real society. So here also the play focuses on the changing roles and identities of men and women in a changed social context. In an orthodox society like India, where arranged marriages still hold the sway, marriage is quite often the first experience of love and sex for several men and women. Nagamandala delves into the female and male effort for growth into adulthood and maturity in the context of social obligation to perform one's stipulated role as a spouse. It is a credit to the dramatic genius of Karnad that he transforms a male-oriented folktale in such a way that it becomes a reflection of the predicament of a man and woman in a psychologically transitional phase. This common theme of transition is woven artistically into the dramatic texture of changing social roles of men and women. The newly married couple, Rani and Aparna, do not know how much they can relate to each other. The young Rani is nostalgic and secluded in the locked house. Aparna is an emotionally undeveloped man, a domineering and a callous husband who is blissfully unaware of the emotional and physical need of his young wife. Rani's they are not able to however relate to one another and therefore the whole play is this drama, the Nagamandala, serves as a mirror which therefore reflects the shifting identity of men and women with changing roles. Thus, the play focuses on the completeness of role playing. And theatre serves as an important device to teach what it means in a given society to be a man, a woman, an adult, and a parent. Okay, so that's with this section of the play where we come across Rani's confusion of what has happened and her absolute unawareness to the whole thing, though she craves for it. Once she has understood it, she craves for it, but again the feeling that happens in her, that guilt that happens in her, shows the Indian society as such, where sex is considered a taboo, or even talk about sex, to talk about it, or even parents talking to the children about it, to give them awareness itself is considered a taboo, a sin. And we also, in this section itself, we also have Kurudava and Kappanna there, and Kurudava and Kappanna sees Naga going out. They first think that there is a man inside, but then Kurudava says, how can it be? It's locked from outside. What you have seen, maybe just a fancy. Why don't you just check once more? And when Kappanna tries to see or peep through the window, he sees Naga changing into the cobra and go through the drain, and Kappanna is scared that he lifts Kurudava and they run. So that is a very hilarious scene also, and Kurudava keeps asking him to put her down and scolds him for running away, because after all it has gone through the drain and it's not anywhere there. But Kappanna is really scared. Now she meets Rani and they talk to her, they talk to each other again through the barred window. So that's also a metaphor, as I told you earlier. And they talk, and Kurudava, as usual, asks her about whether they have consummated their marriage, to which Rani is shy and she says yes. She blushes, and Kurudava is very happy to know that their marriage has been consummated. And then there is like when Kurudava speaks about Appanna having left the house, and when Kurudava suddenly says about the snake, Rani is scared of the snake, and then she rushes to the bathroom to see whether Appanna had gone to the bathroom to take a bath. That's what she understood. Naga goes to the bathroom, and therefore Rani thinks that Appanna is still inside the bathroom, and she rushes to the bathroom to see if Appanna is still there, but finding him gone, she's relieved and she says no, he has left. And Kurudava says, how can it be, because the door is locked from outside? And Rani says no, he has definitely gone. Okay, so there is again, if you look or read through the lines, I'll read between the lines, you will understand that, see, Rani rushes to the bathroom to see if Appanna has gone, and comes back and says Appanna has already left. So if you are to read between the line, what do you think? Why do you think she rushes to the bathroom to check whether he's still there? Again, that leaves a room for thought, or for why she rushes to the bathroom. It could also indicate the extramarital relationship in a way. Okay, so here it is all to do with, I told you, multiple layers of implication and multiple layers of interpretation. So therefore each time a character does something, we have to analyze the character's motive, they analyze the character's actions, and see what the dramatist is actually trying to tell us. Another thing about the another thing about this act is where Karnad introduces the supernatural element. Kappanna is stalked by a supernatural lover now and then, and we did have earlier reference to the supernatural lover following Kappanna in Act 1 as well, where he talks to his mother. He tells her that he's not just imagining anything, it is true, like a kind of a snake woman kind of character. Well, this fear of Kurtava, that this is actually a kind of fear that happens in Kurtava, that she's moving away from her son. That shows or foreshadows the disappearance of Kappana later on in the play. And this is caused by this supernatural lover who entices him away to her world later on. So this again is another mirror of the society, where after marriage a husband turns to love his mother more, love his wife more, and is pulled towards her. Again, there is a clash between two identities, two female identities. One is that of a sickly kind of identity, or one is that of ailing and sickly kind of identity, like the ailing mother that we came across in the anecdote of the flames. And another one is Kurtava herself, who's sickly, who's blind, who's who cannot see, and who is dependent on her son. Again, Kurtava's blindness, I did tell you of the blindness which is metaphorical. It is also her blind faith in superstition. It is also her blind love for her son. So this here, though the son is a very lovable person, lovable son, he loves his mother. Later on, you understand that when a young female identity comes into place, the old woman is being exploited, or there's a clash between them. And the person, the Kappana, is actually enticed by his lover. Here Karnad brings in the supernatural effect, but as a mirror of the society, a husband being lured by his wife is what we can read from this line. So we'll stop here, and we'll pick up the rest of the section of the play in the next video. So thank you, and keep safe.